Plaintiff Tamara Red says the defendant is her firstborn child, and although she was very popular as a child, she also liked to fight. Tamara is suing her daughter for an unpaid loan. Defendant Jasmine Jackson says growing up, her mother was more strict with her than she was with her other children. Jasmine insists her ex-boyfriend agreed to repay Tamara, so she denies owing.
Start with you.
Jasmine is my firstborn child, oldest child, baby girl. Growing up, she was my child that you would look for quite often.
What does that mean? She wandered off?
No, she was the popular child, so everyone wanted to be around Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
So when you heard sirens, it's a small community, you heard sirens, we were looking for Jasmine. Only because she did a little bit of fighting growing up. In school, her counselors, her initiative to not get in trouble. If you can stay out of trouble all week, Jasmine, we'll buy you lunch at the end of the week.
What type of trouble?
Fighting. A lot of fighting.
Did you ever get to the bottom of why that was?
She was that popular kid that everyone wanted to hang around. She kind of maybe picked the wrong crowd.
How does that lead to fights?
She picked the wrong crowd.
Usually the opposite. If you're popular, everybody want to be around you. That means you don't get in many fights because everybody likes you.
That's true. But
other people do your fighting.
Yeah, you get other people do the fighting. You're right. That's a good one.
That's the case. She did a lot of fighting for others.
Handle that. She did a lot of fighting for others.
For others, yes.
Let me hear from you.
Well, my mom, she was a strict mom, but only with me. I got other siblings younger than me.
Why don't you think she was strict with them?
I'm not, well, I don't know, maybe because I did stay in a little bit of trouble.
Why? Tell me what type of trouble.
I was a fighter, but I mean.
How often?
A lot.
Every week?
Not every week. She's dramatic.
More than a couple times a month?
More, yeah.
Do you have any idea why that was?
I feel like I just had a lot of anger built up.
Right, that's clearly what it was, because that's not normal behavior. Did you get her counseling?
She did go to counseling. She did a lot of counseling.
Did it change anything?
She has changed. As far as the fighting.
So the counseling worked?
Oh, as far as the fighting, yes.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, her anger issues.
Yes.
All right, good, because people don't fight with their fists no more. You need to know that.
Right.
You need to know that. So I'm glad that counseling worked, because 9mm certainly do. So if the counseling don't work, that may be what's next. So don't be out here trying to fight anybody. And for those watching, you see a child who was engaged in violence, which is abnormal. See, some folks think because of the community you live in or what have you, that it's normal for a person to be violent all the time. That is not normal behavior. So you need to get it checked out and addressed. She had it checked out and addressed, and it worked. And it worked through counseling. Mm-hmm. You know, I was a very violent kid, and it wasn't normal behavior. But in the 70s, parents didn't know to go and get you checked out. But ultimately, as an adult, looking back and understanding mental disorders, I determined that based on the symptoms that I had attention deficit, which causes frustration and anger. Because when your mind is not focusing in on something, I think I've said this before, you get frustrated. Or if people are combative with you, you already have a general disposition of frustration and anger because things aren't like they should be. You don't feel like you should feel, or you just get frustrated and angry. And that's not normal behavior. So get it treated. Don't think that, yes, the neighborhood we live in, they always fighting. The kids not every kid is always fighting. One kid might be always fighting somebody, and that makes the other somebody always fighting because the other one always wants to fight. All right, so you're an example of a parent who acted properly or prudently, and it worked. So I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you.
But you can continue to tell me, what did you do after leaving high school?
I went to school for medical assistance.
Good. You finish?
I did.
You did? Mm-hmm. All right. You working in that field or not?
Yes, I'm a caregiver.
Good. All right. Glad to hear that. For the mature community, for the senior community?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
All right. Now, you know some of them get a little cranky every now and then. You don't have no relapse, do you? We don't want you jumping on the elderly as your caregiver because they say something out the way. Why are you suing her for $2,500?
In February of 2018, I purchased a car for Jasmine. March of 2018, her boyfriend took the car and totaled it. Jasmine and I have agreement that the loan will be paid off within 6 months.
What do you have to say?
She did get a car for me, but after it was totaled, her and my boyfriend had an agreement where he would pay. So I have to.
All right. Did he pay? No. Why not?
We're not together.
How long ago did you break up?
July.
Why hadn't he paid before then?
Well, we had bills and, kids.
You didn't know that when you borrowed it?
I did.
So why didn't you consider that before promising to pay something that you knew you weren't going to be able to?
Because I thought I would be able to. Because it was.
Okay, and what changed? What circumstance changed before he left?
It was one income, just mine.
How had that changed?
He lost his job.
Okay, so it went from both working to only you working?
Yes.
Is that true?
That's true.
Okay, but you don't care about that.
I have bills too.
Okay.
I still have a 10-year-old child to take
I
care
was
of.
just making sense of what happened, making sure she just didn't decide, she just didn't want to pay you because she didn't want to. Some folks are like that. I don't want to pay her. So I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping this money. I ain't giving her a dime. She owed me this. She my mama. Yeah, she's not doing that. So I respect you for not denying it based on her being your mother.
Thank you.
Essentially, you're saying that you and your boyfriend couldn't pay because he lost his job and now he's gone and he said he would pay, but that is not a defense to you owing her something that you borrowed from her and you agreed to repay. It wasn't a loan between you and her boyfriend, was it?
No.
Right, it was a loan between the two of you. So unless she approved of assigning the loan to someone else, then you still owe it. Assigning means if you owe the finance company for a car and you decide, I don't want to drive this car anymore and I don't want to make these payments, and you say to your daughter, okay, you make the payments. Well, the finance company has to approve that before she becomes responsible. Otherwise, you're still responsible. And she may or may not make the payments, but you're still responsible. If the finance company says, okay, we'll transfer the obligation from your name to her name, that means you have been able to assign your loan to her. And the finance company has to approve that assignment. And that hasn't happened here. She didn't approve of the assignment of your loan to your boyfriend. So you still own it. And I'll have to grant her judgment, $2,500. Have a good day.
We go back to normal. Still my baby. I still love her.
Yeah, I still love her. Just go back to our normal ways.